All right, to the corner of Wall and Broad, where it just seemed to go from bad to worse. Stocks down about 138 points. Growing fears that Europe's a mess and getting messier, and that we might not be that far behind. Senator John Thune has been warning about that here in Washington, the South Dakota Republican, joining me right now. You know, we tend to snicker, Senator, when we look at Europe and say, oh, what a mess they are. We're not a heck of a lot better, are we?
We really aren't, Neil, and good afternoon, by the way. But you look at what's happened here just in the last 4 days. The stock market's been going down each day. I think 8 of the last 9 days we've seen a reduction in the market. But it's all based upon what's happening in Europe. And I think what the lesson in this for us should be, we've got to get our fiscal house in order. There are just warning signs, red lights flashing everywhere to this country, and warning us about what's going to happen if we don't take steps to get on a sustainable fiscal path. And the Europeans and countries like Spain, which are dealing not only with a housing bubble but also a contracting economy and huge amounts of debt, credit drying up, those are all the things that we're going to face in the future if we don't take steps to turn the country's fiscal direction around. And that means we've got to take on entitlement reform, we've got to do something to reform the tax code to get economic growth going again, and try and avoid this fiscal cliff that we're facing at the end of the year.
You know, Senator, what alarms me every time I hear a new financial report out of Europe, now that the Spanish banks want more money, they just got money. The country of Spain is trying to back them up and see if they can get more money. Cyprus is a disaster, wants more money. I always worry, are we, I guess, not so indirectly going to have to chip in because we're big contributors to the World Bank, we're big contributors to the IMF. Do you think that Republicans' position should be, and I don't know whether this is your position, not another dime, or is it in our interest to keep them stable?
No, I think the latter, or the former, is the correct position, Neil. I think not another dime. We cannot afford to be bailing out Europe. We need to take care of our own problems right now. The United States is still in a position to fix what we're facing if we do the right things. If we'll take the right steps, put the right policies in place now, we can avoid the result that they're facing in Europe right now. But it would be a big mistake, in my view, for the United States and the American taxpayers, or the IMF or any other institution, to try and bail out countries that really are right now just sort of kicking the can down the road a little bit further. And I think that would be a huge mistake for our country, for the American taxpayer. What we need to be focusing on right now is addressing the concerns that we have right here at home, which, if not addressed, are going to take us in the direction of Europe. And obviously that's something we can avoid and should avoid, but it's going to take some leadership here in Washington, D.C., which up until now we haven't seen from the President or his allies here in the Congress.
Well,
There's
you know,
a reluctance
the rap
among
against
Democrats to take on these big issues.
But the rap against a lot of your Republican colleagues, sir, is that you guys are the same bent, that you're sort of waiting and running out the clock here, convinced that maybe you have a shot at taking the presidency, maybe even the Senate. And so there's no reason to make a deal with this president. You can make a deal tailored to your liking with a Republican president and a clean sweep of all branches of government. What do you say to that?
Well, I think it'd be great if we would get that. I think in order to fix these problems, we need new leadership here, real leadership. If we can get Governor Romney elected president and have a president that's really focused on solving problems, we can do that. But to your point, and you know, Republicans are trying to do things already. The House of Representatives passed earlier this year as part of their budget serious entitlement reforms, serious tax reforms. We're trying to get those taken up in the Senate. As you know, we haven't even passed a budget here now in the Senate for the past 3 years. There are things that we can be doing right now that will help avert this crisis today. And if you look at next month, the House of Representatives is going to act on legislation that will extend the tax rates that are set to expire at the end of the year and will result in a massive tax increase on middle-income Americans as well as small businesses in this country, something that can be avoided. So the Republicans here in Washington that can do something about this are doing something about it. What we're not getting right now is cooperation, obviously, from the White House or the Democrats in the United States Senate. I hope that changes. We have time to address these things, but that time is running out.
Senator John Thune, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much.